Hey everyone, welcome to Ignite 2024. Wherever you're joining us from all over the world, I just want to say that we're grateful for your attendance and enthusiasm. We recognize how just crazy the pace of innovation has been, especially over the last 1 to 2 years with genAI. So just want to take that a moment to say thanks for being patient and for being so invigorated by everything that we've been putting out in the market. I want to use today to talk about the latest and greatest of Azure OpenAI Service. And more importantly, I want to talk about what all of this innovation means for startups and digital first companies. And I think that doing this at home in my office is a great representation of all the entrepreneurs around the world who are sitting in garages, coffee shops, living rooms, trying to build the next incredible applications. I want to really focus on the fact that the momentum that we've had with AI at Azure is just unbelievable. 60,000 organizations everywhere from startups to Fortune 500s are going big with Azure AI and Azure OpenAI Service and building just incredible applications and solutions, finding new use cases and improving existing ones. And I want to call out one of the favorite startups in the world now, Perplexity, which is inspiring lots of other companies to think about genAI first experiences. And Perplexity, if you've used it, is just an unbelievable reimagination of what it means to search for information, very much like how Copilot and ChatGPT are. And this is powered by Azure OpenAI Service. And the company's been able to just double throughput and lower latency by 30%. And they're serving to 7 million users and counting. So it's just incredible scale, and it's scale that's come in a very short amount of time. And for a lot of startups and digital natives, there's this excitement and also fear of when that scale hits, being able to serve customers in the same way as the beginning. And I want to talk a little bit about ways that Azure and OpenAI Service are making it easier for smaller companies to scale and feel like they're in control of their destiny. And before I jump into the Azure OpenAI Service, though, there's this incredible thing happening where genAI, which is all the rage and discussion, is almost making folks forget about the classic AI services, which continue to be meaningful to our customers. So thinking like speech to text and text to speech within our Azure Speech Service, or looking at language for translation. Now, certainly we know that the LLMs are becoming more powerful and they're becoming multimodal, and they can do some of these things, but we have a rich history in driving incredible performances from those individual modalities like speech, vision, and language. We also have a incredible machine learning product, and all of this is underscored by responsible AI tooling, trustworthy AI, content safety, groundedness detection, other features that make it so not only are you going on this AI journey at scale, but you're also doing it in a way where you're going to mitigate risk. And all of these things can be done in our Azure AI Studio, which is a complete end-to-end environment to build. And if I think about my friends that are working in startups, getting your hands on things and trying things out and experimenting is what it's all about. And that's what the studio is meant for. Now, here's the interesting thing about Azure OpenAI Service. You know, we've been around about 2 years with the announcement of the partnership with OpenAI. We've seen the incredible way that ChatGPT has captivated the world, and now we're seeing the way that Copilot as well. And companies are building their own custom Copilot solutions through Azure OpenAI Service. And I want to recognize how the pace of the innovation, I say before, it's just blistering. Even just left here, you see so many launches, just in a few months. And I think about how in most of tech, your developers are used to maybe one SDK update a year and a few features. And with OpenAI as a partner, we've really accelerated that pace and accelerated the cadence of launches. So whether we're talking about new ways to deploy or new models to experiment with or new modalities within those models like audio, there's always going to be a benefits list that you'll be able to take advantage of working with Azure and Azure OpenAI Service. And I want to call out a few here. So trustworthy by design, we have built-in security, we have built-in RAI tooling, flexibility on deployment types, the ability to customize models through fine-tuning in RAG or prompt. That's a tough decision tree to work through, but there's just incredible amount of customization opportunities available. Being able to integrate Azure OpenAI Service across Azure AI Search or Fabric, just being able to build into the Microsoft ecosystem with these models. I think that is the beauty. We are so grateful to have OpenAI as a partner. They've delivered these just game-changing, I mean, game-changing an understatement, these life-changing models. And building with those models in Azure, you're getting a full stack of benefits as well. So regardless of what's being launched, we really want to reiterate the fact that we have these incredible benefits that allow you to go beyond just the models themselves. But that partnership, I built this slide. I put a heart between the companies because yes, you can kind of read the headlines and you can interpret however you want. But right now, this partnership is strong. We are so committed to bringing their models to market the same day that they bring them to their customers. We've been doing that for the last 6 months, whether it's 4.0 or 0.1. If OpenAI announces it, our developers on Azure can jump right in. And that is just, for us, table stakes. Like, it's exciting, but we feel like that's the minimum that we can do, is bring it to you the same day. But it's all of those additional benefits that we talked about before that are making it just more and more interesting. And, this slide a year ago, 2 years ago, looks very different. GPT 3.5, Codex, rest in peace. No DALL-E, no Whisper, no audio model, no advanced reasoning model like 0.1. So we've seen this incredible growth and expansion of the models coming from OpenAI. And of course, the models that are coming out all have different use cases. And we're loving seeing our customers take advantage of them. In fact, a year ago, we were talking about finding the best model for you. And now we are able to say, hey, the summarization and that you're doing with content or generating new content, you can do that with the GPT series. But if you're looking at advanced reasoning, wanting to solve for complex problems, then you're going to try 0.1. So we are in a new chapter, season 2, where you should be experimenting and recognizing that it's not just multimodality, it's multi-model and multi-agent as well. I mean, that's the new third pillar, is how do you get these models to go do things outside of the prompt flow or outside of just evoking the experience. Now, I just changed slides. It's a quick change where I go from our mission statements to the advantages of both companies. Again, we would not be able to go so big for our customers with generative AI without the cutting edge models that OpenAI has developed. And we're so thankful for that. And the fact that their research, I mean, just like Microsoft, they have a really deep research bench. So, as we're talking about 0.1 and GPT-4o with audio, we know OpenAI is thinking about the next generation of models as well, and what that means for society and productivity and efficiency. And I think the third one, unlocking new creative possibilities. We were all captivated by the Sora video last year. Incredible progress on DALL-E. 0.1, unbelievable ways to think about solving complex problems. That is an area for us that we are just so proud of OpenAI. And then on our side, it's like, how can we deliver AI in a way that is safe and secure, so you don't have to worry about all that can happen, whether your employees are testing it in certain ways or your end users are using it. No matter what, we're really mitigating risk. And another area is just the availability and flexibility of the service. We know that companies and developers care about control and flexibility. So we've made it a lot easier for companies to deploy the models in different ways across different regions. If data residency matters, we want to make sure that we help you there. So more flexibility, more ways to save, better ways to scale. And if I'm a startup or a digital first company, I'm not always going to see myself as a startup or a small company. I want to get to the big leagues, and I want to make sure that I'm I'm working with a cloud provider that can help me scale. So I talk about that scale, and I think it's important to show it. We can talk about the models. I'm going to do some demos, but I want to quickly and clearly show all of the ways that companies can consume and deploy this generative AI. And a year ago, it was pay as you go. If you want to work on Azure OpenAI Service, you're going to consume tokens, and you're going to pay as you go. And it's been an amazing last 6 to 12 months working with customers, getting feedback, talking to a lot of startups and digital natives, and realizing that there needs to be more flexibility. So not only are we now offering the standard tokens, we're also offering provision, this idea of provisioning your workloads, and having better throughput and better performance, and the ability to actually have monthly or annual reservations on the provision to have additional savings. And then we've just released Batch API, which if you're scheduling your workloads in advance, there's a potential more savings. So scaling is so important, but scaling in a way that you can predict the costs and you can predict the performance is so important to you all. And that's why the third row here, I'm really excited about sharing, which is beyond global SKU, where you pay less and we choose the region that the data is processed and served. You now have two additional choices, which is data zones, which is looking at United States as a territory and Europe as a territory for those that really need data residency, but aren't quite as critical about choosing the exact data center. So that's what regional is. So lower cost global, we choose the SKU. Higher cost regional, you choose the data center. And data zones is a beautiful middle ground where customers want the flexibility of the area, like the United States or Europe because of data residency, but don't necessarily want to pay the premium for the specific data center like East US 1 or 2. This to me is just the beauty of why we're so obsessed with helping our customers on this journey, because we don't want you to feel like you're stuck with the one pricing construct. And choosing the best offer is a loaded conversation, right? Because part of this is about saving money, but then there's also this need where, hey, I actually want better performance. So what we're trying to help our customers on this journey is with this guidance around, if you're going to have to go in one direction, how should you think about it? And again, I think that performance, like throughput and latency, or what you're paying and being able to manage that or find ways to unlock additional savings through reservations, it's worth looking at that, because again, as you're building out your startup and you're starting to see high traffic events and you're seeing the success and all the hard work pay off, you want to make sure that you're managing what that bill looks like so you can continue to scale and can continue to drive incredible success. Now, I want to play a video of one of my favorite startups, because OpenAI, while yes, they are the incredible inspiration behind our ability to launch Copilot and Azure OpenAI Service, they're also a customer of ours. And they are using multiple services, including Cosmos DB as their database of choice, and Azure AI Search, and to scale themselves. So I'm going to play this video now, but a lot of times it's a surprise when people realize that OpenAI is one of our customers. So the partnership is actually greater than a partnership. There's also a healthy dependence on each other, us for the models and OpenAI for some of that infrastructure and ability to serve those experiences to customers. So let's take a look at that video now.
At OpenAI, our mission is to make artificial intelligence both accessible and safe to all of humanity. ChatGPT has been the fastest growing consumer app in all of history, with over 100 million weekly active users. Our API is trusted by over 2 million developers worldwide.
We launched 2 RAG-powered features. GPTs lets users build custom versions of ChatGPT that have external knowledge. Over 3 million GPTs have been built on the platform. That's a significant amount of retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, that is happening daily.
The Assistants API lets developers build their own AI-powered assistants to integrate external knowledge using RAG at scale.
To successfully support our massive user base, we need to use the best technology available. That's why we decided to use Azure AI Search and Azure 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗲𝗏.
Azure AI Search is more than just a vector database. It is a retrieval system with hybrid search capabilities and support for metadata filtering. Our API users can now upload 500 times the number of files that they could earlier, and that's powered by Azure AI Search.
Azure 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗏 auto-scales to meet our capacity needs while being enterprise-grade in feature set and security.
The Azure stack has been very reliable and has worked really well to support our scale needs thus far. OpenAI and Microsoft both deeply believe in responsible AI. With Azure and our tools, we can solve some of the biggest problems of today and tomorrow.
Sweet, right? I mean, I am working on Azure OpenAI Service for the last 2 years and Azure AI for 3 years. I am just such a fan of OpenAI and how they've changed the world and helped Microsoft do some incredible things. So it's always a humble reminder that yes, they are the model provider, but they've also been working with us as a customer. So the flywheel is really strong in that relationship. I want to now talk about some of the recent innovations, both here at Ignite and in the recent past, that are just changing the way our customers think about generative AI and AI in general. And one is the new GPT-4o real-time preview API, which is the ability to talk to the models and get speech back in a very, very, very powerful way. Low latency, very accurate, great at translating languages. So when you're thinking about developing a chatbot for your website or your application and you want to have a voice element to it for accessibility and just as another way to consume, this is the model that's helping do it. In fact, at Build in May 2024, we talked so much about multimodality, and GPT-4o with audio is the beginning of that. And I'm going to play a short demo so you can get an understanding of what I mean by building a conversational experience that is verbal rather than just using GPT-4o to power the conversation in written text.
All right, let me show you how voice-enabled AI is going to change the way we do things. I'm trying to get some support here, but the chat is just not doing it for me. So let's see if I can get them to call.
𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀 Wireless.
Pretty cool. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Seth. It's great to talk with you. How can I assist you today?
Oh, I think you know.
I see you want to use your older Motorola flip phone alongside your new Quantum phone. Unfortunately, it's usually not possible to use 2 devices on a single account.
I did not know that. That's making me very upset. Obviously, I'll use a new phone, but what can you do to make it right?
I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Seth. Since you'll be using the new phone, I can add a discount to your next month's service bill to make up for this. Does that sound okay?
That's awesome. Would you do that and maybe finish with a joke since you've been so nice?
Absolutely. I've added a discount to your next month's service bill. And here's a tech joke for you. Why was the smartphone wearing glasses? Because it lost its contact.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you later.
The resolution. And I'll follow up in a few days to ensure everything's sorted out. If you need anything else, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Notice how voice mode was able to take care of my problem in a personable and amazing way. And that's what voice mode is going to do for us. Thank you so much.
Some of you may be familiar with Seth. He's always on stage doing really incredible demos at our events. And to me, if I think about, aspiration as a young developer, Seth is one of those people I look at where I say, hey, this reminds me of me. But he has evolved in how he delivers incredible demos. So someone worth following. but really love the way that he shows the use case for audio. And, this use case doesn't even show the ability to go into multiple languages. So imagine a world where you build a call center or a contact support center, and you have the models helping drive the engagement with the caller. And the moment they recognize the customer's speech, then the model changes, which is a very far distant from what most of us are used to, where you call a contact center and it says, if you need Spanish, press 2. Well, I don't usually ask for other languages. So in this case, it's very language agnostic, which I just find to be incredibly inclusive and powerful. We've also introduced, beyond the 4.0 audio, probably my favorite innovation in generative AI to date is the O1 series. And the O1 series is all about reasoning and complex problem solving. In fact, one of our sessions at Ignite is called Solving the Unsolvable, introducing the O1 model series from OpenAI on Azure. Because the O1 series, unlike the 4.0 or GPT-4 or 3.5 of the past, is not about fast performance and giving you an answer in 1 second. It's about slow thinking. The era of slow AI is here. You may have seen that online with some influencers, and I think that this is a really important point. The O1 series is not replacing the GPT-4 series. They are very different. And the O1 series is really all about looking at complex or dense documentation, or looking at long form audio or video or research and reasoning on top of it. And I'm going to show another demo from our VP of AI Futures, 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and he is going to show you a few use cases for this model. And this model, it's available now in Azure AI Studio. I want you to think about even how you solve the challenges of your own startup. How do we accelerate faster based on our current data, based on our current sales performance? That's what this is all about. And sometimes the model, it takes a little longer. In fact, if you try the models, if you go into ChatGPT and you try the model, or you do it in Azure AI Studio, you'll see that it spins a little longer because it's actually thinking slowly and trying to really come up with the best possible answer. So let me show you this video now. If you're like me, and if you're working on a startup or a digital first company, you definitely are thinking like me, but probably at an even higher rate. Your imagination's going to probably go wild here.
The O1 family of models. You've surely seen it in the news boasting its PhD level performance. But what does that really mean for our customers? Let's find out. So what can O1 do that previous models could not? Well, first of all, it can do math, calculating aggregate statistics on a data set. It can detect correlations in one or many datasets that you give it, and that allows it to do a deeper analysis than was ever possible before, emitting unprecedented insights. Let's have a look at what we mean by this. We'll start with a retail example. In this case, we're going to give it two disparate datasets. The first one contains single store sales data for August 2024 for a fictional store, and the second one contains staffing data for that same store. We pipe that data directly into the prompt, and we ask for some insights as to what's driving sales, how we might increase it, and how we might change staffing in the future. The O1 model does not disappoint. At the top, we can see where it is calculating some aggregated metrics about our dataset. Based on those metrics, it comes up with some ways to increase sales. It notes that our purchase rate on weekends is not as high as on other days. This is fascinating because this particular dataset did not include the days of the week, and so it correctly inferred which days were weekends. It's clearly found a correlation between low staffing levels on weekends and lower purchase rates. And so it recommends that we increase the weekend staffing, and even suggests that we put up self-checkout kiosks to reduce the need for staffing during high traffic times. Let's try a banking scenario with the O1 model. We're going to do a little sell-side research. Sell-side research is generally derived from data given on things like SEC filings. And so, for the fictional company Contoso, we will feed the O1 model its income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, and valuation data for the last 4 years, and ask it to generate for us a sell-side research report. The results are indeed remarkable. There's a clear investment thesis here, a sell recommendation. O1 does the math and calculates the compound annual growth rate and margin. It performs an analysis on the P/E ratio on the enterprise value to EBITDA and other such metrics, and it's with this analysis that it justifies its price target. All in all, this is a pretty good-looking sell-side research report. Now let's consider the potential of the O1 model for a media and entertainment company. Here we give O1 ticketing data from a recent event, and we ask it to analyze who spent the most on tickets and who bought the highest quantity of tickets. Once again, O1 comes through, first tabulating the number of tickets purchased and the total amounts paid, and then giving us an analysis of the attributes of those top spenders. We see it take the same approach for the highest quantity purchasers, and finally it gives us some useful insights and patterns that it drew from this data, and it even gives us a recommendation for driving future high-volume ticket sales. Finally, we would be remiss if we did not mention O1's rather advanced ability to write code. Here we ask it to make a self-contained HTML page with a playable Space Invaders game written entirely in JavaScript. O1 happily obliges, giving us this code. Running its code in the browser, we find that indeed it's given us a Space Invaders game. It's worked on the first try.
How cool is that? I think the building a Space Invaders type game with O1 is a great hook. But I think looking at like unstructured sales data, looking at a dense document, this is where I start to get really excited, because now you build a call center, or you are doing research and getting customer feedback, and rather than just generating summaries, you actually are reasoning over it to come up with what your next strategy is. And I think that's just unbelievable. I mentioned before there's this common question. I've been to some hackathons and I've had developers ask me this: which one should I go with? Should I go with O1 or should I go with 4.0? 4.0 is multimodal. O1 is advanced reasoning. This is not an or. This is more like an and or, because if you're using currently GPT-4 or 3.5 Turbo or 4.0 to generate new content for your marketing campaigns, or you're analyzing performance data for a weekly business review, you might be okay in continuing to use those models. I mean, even the chatbots that we're seeing all over the world through Azure OpenAI Service, whether that's like a customer support or even like an internal supply chain chatbot, these things are probably okay with the existing models. Now, if we're talking about deeper needs, like if you're a startup in healthcare and you're trying to find the next chemical to test in some sort of solution to help people, right? This is the kind of advanced reasoning we're talking about. Or if I'll use the simple example. If we're going to find a cure for a disease, these are the models that are going to help companies that do that. Where the 4.0 and the GPT-4 series will continue to be more standard text image processing. I think this is just an important slide to memorize, because the meta point is you want to experiment with both. It's worth it to go in the Azure AI Studio and really look at the way that the O1 model operates differently. In fact, I like to put on my entrepreneurial dev hat, and I love to compare the completions that I get from the prompts. And what I'll say is this: putting in large documents for O1 is just an incredible way to extract information and more importantly, come up with a plan to action that information. Okay, we've talked a bit about the evolution and the progress with innovation. We've talked a little bit about the models and how they work and how amazing they are and what they can do. There's always going to be, there's someone right now watching this that's thinking, okay, all good, but talk to me about my data. Data, privacy, IP, security, compliance. And this view I've memorized this view, and it's really important for all of us to come to a place of understanding that your data is your data. We are not sharing any data, whether it's training data, fine-tuning data, with our customers, with OpenAI. It's not used to improve OpenAI models. It's not used to improve our technology. Certainly, if OpenAI makes an update to a model, you benefit, but your data is your data, and we really want to be as supportive as we can for our customers, because we recognize that every company has very different views on how to approach the data. And if you're a startup, maybe you have less red tape to work around, but you also need to really make sure you have a strong strategy too. So it's always important. I mean, this is not a new view, but it's important to reiterate it. And I've been working on the Azure AI, Microsoft AI journey for 3 years. But we have been on a responsible AI journey for a really long time. I mean, since the beginning, the focus for us has been all about reliability, fairness, transparency, accountability, inclusiveness, and privacy and security. I mean, these are the 6 principles. And I've said this to customers before, without tooling that supports responsible AI, it's just a good intention. And thankfully, we have Azure AI Content Safety as a premier product that is baked in and doesn't cost. It is baked in for our customers at no additional cost, and allows you to feel much more confident that anything that's going on with the products that you build and chatbots that you publish, there are ways that we will always mitigate the harmful content and things that can go wrong. So we have content safety filters, we have prompt shields, we have groundedness detection, and abilities to understand what's protected within the content. So for me, I think about how I have a small son at home, a baby on the way, and as they get older and they are curious about things that I've done in my life, I want to be able to say that all the AI that was developed and all of the generative AI that we saw, we did not see the fear that some people have. We didn't see it realized. And thankfully, I work at a company, and we have incredible customers that believe in this, that we would rather do things right than do things fast and then have to correct it later, which could have a major impact on society. So we've always taken pride in limited access frameworks and making sure our customers are using our technologies in the right way. And we don't want to slow you down. I mean, if you are a startup, if you are digital first, you're moving at the speed of light, and we love that. I mean, speed wins for sure. But as you're moving fast, let's make sure that the safety features are built in. I want to provide a view of use cases that we're seeing from our customers. And these use cases are getting more granular every few months. So a year or two ago, it was all about content generation and summarization, maybe some coding. And now we're just seeing pretty much any function across any business is being transformed by AI. So you'll see things on here that feel like use cases for business, productivity, automation, customer journey, content scale. And within that, even the business use cases like virtual assistants or document intelligence, contact centers, asset management. These were always important, regardless of the AI world. But AI is allowing companies to really focus on these things in new ways. And what is generative AI doing? What is Azure OpenAI doing for our customers? In the beginning, it was modernizing process. It was kind of like the second chapter of digital transformation. But now that's more sort of basic functionality, right? Now we're going beyond just modernizing process, and we're focusing on differentiation, generating new revenue streams through those experiences. And I think that's exciting. I mean, I think the hype is important, but we need to now get focused into business outcome. And again, the business outcomes and the use cases are just continuing to have more and more granularity, both horizontal to industry and also within industries. Now, I want to just show a few more products and services that make up the Azure OpenAI Service portfolio that are helping startups and digital first companies move quickly, have flexibility, and feel like the sky's the limit. And that includes, we've talked about this, the Azure AI Studio. The Azure AI Studio is really interesting because not only do you have access to the OpenAI models, but you have access to 1,600 other models like Mistral or the 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 series or Microsoft's Phi series, the small language model. So we do hear from startups all the time that they don't want to feel locked in to a model or a provider. And that's why we have the studio, the model catalog, and models as a service. So you can feel like you have the control and the flexibility to work with whatever is best for your business and for your audience as well.
To bring AI solutions to market faster and more efficiently, developers need better tools. Azure AI Studio is a comprehensive AI development platform designed to be the place for you to build and scale responsible generative AI solutions. AI Studio has a robust catalog of pre-built and customizable frontier and open source models, including those from Azure OpenAI Service, Hugging Face, NVIDIA, and Meta, including the popular llama-2 LLM, which is now available as a service, with pay-as-you-go inference APIs and hosted fine-tuning. Whether you're working with structured, unstructured, or real-time data, you can smoothly apply it to your models, along with sophisticated hybrid search to fuel high-performing app experiences. AI developers can create data-enriched and detailed prompts to get the best results from the generative model using prompt flow, and then use tooling to compare and automatically evaluate model outputs. AI Studio provides seamless integration with VS Code, GitHub Codespaces, Semantic Kernel, and LangChain. Azure AI Studio is equipped with built-in content safety, responsible AI tools, and enterprise-grade security, privacy, and compliance measures. No matter what your generative AI solution may be, you can create it here. Build with Azure AI Studio.
Microsoft.
Fine-tuning is, I mentioned fine-tuning before, is customization. We are seeing more and more companies, granted it can be expensive, that want to go beyond the models out of the box, beyond prompting, and they want to really go deeper with the fine-tuning. So if you're looking into fine-tuning because you've exhausted all of the prompt engineering and RAG on the baseline models, fine-tuning is something to consider. And we are starting to offer fine-tuning for more and more models as well. I think that if I had to give developers at startups a decision tree, I don't think I could, because I don't think that this is about, I'm going to go in one direction. I think that we're starting to find use cases that map to customization, like summarization for fine tuning. If you're working in a medical field or a nuanced language, that's a great area to fine tune. You're seeing on typical Q&A, like your standard, like RAG is being implemented. And then of course there's a hybrid of like customer support where maybe the customer is querying something through a chatbot and RAG is at play. Maybe the answers they're getting are not quite as granular and focused as they need to be. So again, it's not about choosing maybe one or the other, but really looking at all of your business needs. And I want to close on a topic that I find to be very interesting. I mentioned multi-agents before. You probably are thinking about agents. In fact, you may have even heard the news of us launching our Azure AI agent service at Ignite. And this is all about an end-to-end solution in the Azure AI Studio to build agents. Think of agents as custom copilots that can do lots of things where you can train them and give them instructions and they can go do things on your behalf. So we've gone from single models to multi-models, single modalities to multi-modalities, and we've gone from the copilots to creating custom copilots, which we're calling agents out in the world. So it's a really exciting time. If I'm starting a company today, like many of you have done in the last weeks, months, years, the amount of tools that exist for AI and the ways that these models can help you even plan your business, not just build experiences for your end users and customers, we've just never seen anything like it before. I mean, even me, I have spent a lot of time experimenting in the studio, experimenting with the O1 models, and I'm realizing how I can dream bigger in this world because I have this technology that is not supplementing me, it's complementing me, which is why I tell people that there's no AI without us. And when you think about things like copilots or chat experiences, it's really an extension of us because we like the data that has been used to train these models comes from our collective experiences. So with that, I'm beyond excited to see what you all build with the new technologies that we've announced this week and beyond. I think the fact that I can talk about models of the past, like truly of the past, even though it was just a year ago, and we're talking about multi-agent systems today, and that wasn't even a keyword phrase a year ago, makes me really wonder what we'll be talking about at the next build, and of course in a year at the next Ignite. And who knows, Perplexity, I featured at the beginning of this. I'm really excited about maybe someone in the audience now will be the startup that we feature next year. So thank you all for the time, and keep building and keep pursuing your dreams through this technology, because I think that it's the developers at these more agile startups and digital first companies that are going to be the ones that discover what that next use case is that we focus in on next year. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the week. And again, from wherever you are in the world, thank you. And we're grateful that you've joined us on this incredible time, which is the era of AI at Microsoft.
Thanks, Andy. I'm excited to talk about Ada's relationship with Azure OpenAI. Ada's mission is to make customer service extraordinary for everyone. And our belief is that a new quality bar of customer service lies around the corner with the right AI. Ada's mission is to help enterprise brands integrate the highest quality AI to deliver a new quality of customer service at scale. We are doing this in part because of our partnership with Azure OpenAI that allows us to tap into the highest quality and best performing intelligence available in the world. That is what powers the Ada reasoning engine, and that is what is delivering enterprises the ability to automatically resolve now 80% plus of all customer contact across messaging and email channels, and very exciting resolution rates that continue to climb in the voice channel too. I'm excited to talk a little bit more about how Ada works and how our partnership with Azure OpenAI makes tremendously exciting capabilities possible. I started Ada, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ada, because I encountered a customer service problem myself in my previous business. Simply put, I couldn't figure out how to scale our customer service operations with quality. And I discovered this scalability and quality trade-off that most businesses face. It is not possible until very recently to deliver the same quality experience with 100 customers as it is with 10 million customers. And so for the last 8 years, our team has been focused on enabling businesses to no longer have to choose, to figure out how businesses can provide quality at scale. And we do that through our efforts of making AI tremendously easy for customer experience teams to leverage. We focus on enabling brands across verticals to succeed in this regard. While we work across many different verticals, there are 3 where businesses are especially successful with Ada Azure OpenAI. That's in the financial services industry, where brands like Square are powering AI customer service agents across brands that are resolving very, very material percentages of their customer service inquiries. Whether it's in the technology industry, businesses like Monday.com, ClickUp, Canva, who are deploying AI agents at scale across channels, or whether it's in retail, businesses who face seasonality in their customer service volumes, particularly around Black Friday, with businesses like Yeti and Aura relying on Ada to deal with seasonal fluctuations in volumes. Our partnership with Microsoft Azure OpenAI is one that we're very proud of, and which is enabling Ada to deliver on 4 dimensions. Our ease of use is something our customers love about us. Our customers are all automatically resolving 30% of their volumes within 30 days or less as a result of our tight integrations with Microsoft services and our applications focus on ease of use. We're tremendously extensible. Our customers love how they can bring in data from anywhere, especially Microsoft services that come pre-configured and easy to integrate with. Security remains a key focus of us. And because of our tight integration and adherence to industry-leading security practices, our customers trust the quality of Ada's generations, even in highly sensitive environments, such as very common in the financial services industry. And then finally, something that we're particularly proud of is Ada's scalability. Ada has powered billions of customer service interactions. We work with organizations who have tens, if sometimes hundreds of millions of customers themselves. And the ability for your single AI agent to be reliable at scale across all channels is something that is across regions, I should say, too, is something that is only made possible because of the deep relationship and integration between Ada and Microsoft Azure OpenAI. Our customers are able to easily onboard their AI agent onto Ada's AI management application and have it pre-configured and integrated with any Microsoft service. We make it easy for you to measure the performance of your AI agent. Is your AI agent automatically resolving an inquiry, or is it merely deflecting away a customer contact and providing a low-quality experience? Ada helps you delineate between the two. We give you visibility into whether or not your AI agent is actually providing relevant answers, accurate answers grounded in your business data, and safe answers that don't put your brand at risk. We also, I think most critically, enable you to coach your AI to improve over time. When you see behaviors that aren't aligned with your best practices, when you see a new query come up, a new situation where you want to align your agent to perform differently, Ada makes it very easy for you to do so. And we make it incredibly easy for your agent to adhere to those new instructions over time. And then finally, because Ada's build once, deploy everywhere methodology, we make it easy for you to promote your agent into new places. That means that you can start with an AI agent that might be working in your SMS channel or on a social channel or even on your website. But that same agent's intelligence can be extended to a new modality like voice or email. The ability for you to build once and deploy everywhere dramatically reduces the effort required to realize transformative results from your customer service AI.
Ada makes customer service extraordinary for everyone using AI agents that resolve the most inquiries with the least amount of effort. When you choose to work with Ada, you start by onboarding your AI agent just like a human agent, by showing them your help center, knowledge base, or product documentation, where they can find answers to customer inquiries. You can easily add any web page to your AI agent's knowledge, or create articles directly in Ada. Ada will use the knowledge you supply to provide safe, relevant, and accurate information to your customers. Personalize your AI agent by giving it a name and selecting a tone of voice. And in just a few minutes, your AI agent is ready to start resolving customer service inquiries automatically. Before we go live, we can test our AI agent and add guidance for your AI agent on how it can improve. Of course, your customer service agents don't just answer questions. They also help your customers update accounts, change passwords, track orders, make reservations, and so much more, using many different business systems. It's easy to teach Ada how to do these same tasks without requiring code, just by writing a simple explanation of how and when to use each tool. Ada can even learn how to follow multi-step instructions, adhering to the processes you describe, while still using generative AI to keep conversations natural and unscripted. Ada can even do the most complex tasks your human agents perform, reliably and automatically. And this is just the beginning. Ada can serve customers in over 50 languages and across chat, social media, email, and phone. We're excited to show you more of what Ada can do for you.
We are tremendously excited about the progress that we're seeing our customers achieve with Ada to date, but we're even more excited about what lies ahead. Increasingly, we are seeing more and more examples of Ada powering customer service experiences that our customers say aren't only as good as what their human customer service agents are performing, but are actually better. And over the months and years ahead, I think we're going to see that become far, far, far more common, where a new bar around customer service quality is created, and it's a bar that we're raising together with Microsoft Azure OpenAI.